Spider-Man has had nearly 10 animated shows, with some better than others. But what is the most underrated Spider-Man show? Most underrated, not the best one. Hello and welcome to Lawnbox Legends, the only show that knows that the line is, with great power, there must also come great responsibility. I'm your host, Preston, and I love Spider-Man. He was the first superhero movie I saw in theaters. I had a majority of the Spider-Man games growing up, and I loved the Spider-Man shows. I grew up with the repeats of the 90s animated series. But one Spider show I loved growing up that doesn't seem to get enough to love is Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Even the 60s Spider-Man show gets more attention, but then again, that's because of its charming animation style and the Jadooby dubs.
To work at the Daily Bugle is a great responsibility. It is a newspaper that has always been trusted by the people, and it is for the people, and it is up to us to continue its legacy.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. How much do I get paid?
We're gonna start you off at $5 an hour.
But today, I want to talk about Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends and what made the show so special. Originally airing on NBC in 1981 as a show to compete with the Super Friends cartoon, I did not see the show in its originality because of a small problem of I didn't exist yet. But I was able to watch the show in the early 2000s on Jetix on Disney Channel. Before it was Disney XD, Disney Channel had Jetix, which mainly aired action-oriented shows such as Power Rangers, Gargoyles, Superman, Static Shock, and both of the Spider-Man shows. Unlimited too, I guess, but who cares? Jetix actually had a lot of content in terms of old classic shows being rerun. I mean, come on, you had Jackie Chan Adventures and Pinky on the Brain on one channel. How cool was that? Unfortunately, I think it was the original content that was lacking and led to the eventual end of Jetix. Of the original shows, 6 of them were Power Rangers, and the rest were kind of forgettable, like Yin Yang Yo, and that weird anime romance comedy thing, Puka, something like that. I don't know, I'm not here to talk about Jetix. That's what they want to save for a future video. Maybe even with someone who also remembers 2000s animation? Back to Spider-Man. The Amazing Friends was exposed to me thanks to Jetix, and I thought it was great back then. If you re-watch the old episodes, it's not going to be for a Spider-Man tale with the usual expectancies. Peter barely has any issues with his social life, and there's less of a focus on relationships. Except for Firestar, but that was on another character, Sunfire. This show is meant to compete with Super Friends, so the same kind of humor and drawbacks can be expected. The animation can be, well, Scooby-Doo-ish at times.
The chameleon! After her! I mean him!
The plots can be outrageous, like Kraven the Hunter trying to command a dinosaur army, or an old man gets this power to warp reality and he tries his best to impress Aunt May. My favorite moment has to be Iceman capturing Spider-Man for a big reward for J. Jonah Jameson, only for the reward to be a headline in the paper and a signed picture of Jonah. But that's all good. It's basically fodder or filler. Just fun, silly adventures you can watch in any order. If you want a more serious Spider-Man, go watch the MTV one, which I also kinda like. What also drew me in was the characters. I wasn't reading comics at the time, so movies and television was my main exposure to superheroes like Captain America, Namor, and Shauna the She-Devil. Yeah, there was some weird character choices on this show. One of them being the choice to use Firestar as 1/3 of the Amazing Friends. The original idea was to use Human Torch, which makes sense since Human Torch and Spider-Man have a lot of team-ups and a frenemy-like relationship with each other. They're just like Drake and Josh.
Hug me, brother!
But alas, instead of Johnny, we got Angelica Jones. The reason behind this decision, some believe, is due to networks not wanting kids to imitate a man on fire, but really, it was just a licensing issue. Licensing issues preventing the Fantastic Four from being with their friends? Imagine that still being a problem. We got Iceman, Spider-Man, and Firestar, and even though she was new, she was a welcomed addition to Marvel. In fact, this pairing and show has been referenced and homaged in other comics, such as the Ultimate Spider-Man lineup, Deadpool taking over for Spider-Man in a great annual, and even in Spider-Verse, where they are killed. Dark. Point is, this show may not have lasted long, but it certainly left an impression on both fans and the comics. Heck, Dan Gilvezan, the voice of Spider-Man, even came back to play Spidey in the Shattered Dimension video game as Spider-Man 2099, and it was great to hear him again. Josh Keaton does a great classic Spidey, but Dan Gilvezan, I think, perfectly captures a confident, college-age/adult Spider-Man. One of the other aspects that made it great? That rocking theme song. Hit it! Spectacular, spectacular, Spider-Man. Spectacular, spectacular. No, this isn't a Spectacular Spider-Man video. Play the amazing theme.
Spider-Man and his amazing friend.
Okay, so it's not the best theme ever, and the Spider team have clearly never run before in their lives, but I think it's a great representation of what you're in store for. A fun, action-packed adventure of heroes fighting monsters and villains. I especially like the da-na-na part because it's the kind of beat I expect for a heroic victory, you know? I especially like the Green Goblin freaking out from Firestar's flames, and Dr. Doom just spinning, I guess. Amazing Friends didn't have a long lifespan, but it certainly left an impression, at least with me. The only thing more classic than it is the 60s show, and if you like that, then I highly recommend you watch this series. Although, good luck finding an official DVD release. You can just stream the episodes on YouTube or Dailymotion, but I like having physical copies. Amazing Friends deserves a little more love and appreciation, and I hope this video helps it in that cause. Thank you for watching Longbox Legends. If you wouldn't mind, hit that like and subscribe button for we have more comic-centered videos on the way. Plus, it'd make you an amazing friend. I'm your host, Preston, and I'll see you on the next issue.